Okay, hello, Kyle Thrash. What did you want to accomplish with your documentary, The Sentence of Michael Thompson?
Well, when we set out, I got approached originally. It started. I got approached by the nonprofit, the Last Prisoner Project. It's a nonprofit that works with people that are incarcerated for cannabis charges, usually nonviolent. And as states begin to legalize, that they work on getting them out, and getting them free. So they came to me and were talking to me about Michael's story, and I connected with Michael and felt like there was a story to be told. Um, and through obviously a year of grassroots effort, and obviously years before that, we got enough attention, and the organizations that helped were able to get him free. So I guess what we hope to accomplish with the film is that it's obviously a story of triumph in some ways, but also like the story doesn't stop there. Obviously, what Michael has gone through is an injustice, and we hope by seeing what the effect that it's had on his family and what he's gone through, hopefully people can help bring awareness and help these Last Prisoner Project and other nonprofits doing similar work raise awareness and help get more people out of prison for cannabis offenses.
Great, and tell me more about Last Prisoner Projects, kind of who they are, their beginning.
Yeah, they've only been they launched in 2019, so they're relatively new. And Dee Dee Kirkwood was one of the original kind of stems of inspiration, and Steve D'Angelo, who's known as kind of like the godfather of cannabis, got together and with some other people were able to kind of launch this nonprofit specifically focused on trying to right the wrongs as best they can for the past war on drugs, and how cannabis has affected so many communities, particularly communities of color, and how it's been a way to kind of affect them and kind of they've been able to kind of help grant clemency cases to people, help put pressure on legislators, because there's so many. Obviously, the cannabis industry is continuing to grow around this country as we begin to legalize, and there's so much money that's that they're making. So they continue to put pressure on those companies too to kind of help right the wrongs and put restorative justice to the communities that were most harmed, and help grant license and create social equity to the people that were affected by it, particularly, again, the ones that are incarcerated.
All right, very nice, very nice. And of course, I'm in Canada, and we know all about weed legalization. But tell me about Michael Thompson from your research. We know he got a charge for 3 pounds and got a very long sentence. Tell me through your research what kind of man he was before that.
Yeah, so Michael was like a family man and a community organizer. He had been in prison before for drug offenses. So when he was arrested in 1994, he fell under the 3-strike rule. So he was considered a habitual offender, which is how they were able to give him this extremely long sentence. But Michael was someone that was trying to provide for his family in Flint, Michigan, where he's from. He was putting on concerts at the time. He was kind of doing different things to kind of give his family what he didn't have. He grew up pretty in pretty difficult circumstances, and always never wanted his family to go through what he went through. So he knows what he was doing was wrong, but it felt like his heart was in the right place for why he was doing it. Not to excuse that, but he sold 3 pounds of cannabis to his friend that was an undercover informant, and got given this extremely long sentence. So he led a gang walk in Flint. He got the key to the city from the mayor. He got an NAACP award. He was in the Navy. After he got out from the previous drug offense sentence, GM gave him his job back. So like people liked him. He was someone that people knew around Flint. They called him Miko. I mean, he's a big, very charismatic guy that people liked. And you know, you see that when he went away, so many people continued to help him. Even when we were making the movie, I mean, we would say, hey, like, you know, can we speak to you? Can we film in your barbershop? Can we film in, you know, your bingo hall? You know, this is, you know, we're making a movie about Michael Thompson. Like, oh, Miko, you know, like, wow, like we haven't, you know, how's he doing? Like, you know, we're praying for him, we're thinking of him. So, you know, everyone kind of, you know, he was someone that people knew around the community, and someone that was respected. And again, a lot of people thought he was always trying to do, you know, good for the city of Flint. So.
Okay, yeah, and the documentary does a good job in contextualizing his humanity and him beyond just a charge. So tell me about your filmmaking approach to the subject matter.
Yeah, so the other director and I, Haley Elizabeth Anderson, you know, we worked with our cinematographer Logan Triplett to try to create a very humanistic approach by looking at this particular case and situation through his daughter. And so we tried to humanize the subject matter, so hopefully people that maybe wouldn't check out, or wouldn't, maybe these ideas wouldn't resonate with them, they can kind of understand that it's in some ways it's a love story between a dad and a daughter, in some ways, you know, about her, you know, hoping that she'd be able to get back to her dad. So that was really important for us to try to remember that there's so many people touched by the war on drugs. You know, it's not only the person that's incarcerated, but it's also the family members that are going through it too. So we felt like, you know, putting the lens on the family and trying to, you know, give their voice a platform, that hopefully it would kind of contextualize it and bring the statistic, you know, of what these numbers are to life in a different way.
Nice. And you definitely did that. So salute to you. Were there some things, some stories or anecdotes or whatever that were just a little too rough to keep in the documentary?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd leave it for Michael to kind of tell his story, but obviously he experienced some, you know, some pretty traumatic things while incarcerated. Um, uh, Rashonda went through some, you know, went through some abusive relationships herself. You know, when she said she felt like when her dad left that there was a void in her life, and that she was kind of looking for that love in different ways, and she fell onto some bad situations that she wouldn't have been in if her dad probably would have been around. So there was just so much pain. I mean, it really it's hard to kind of speak about in terms of what they've gone through. I felt like we tried to just touch the surface of it, because I feel like it just runs so deep. And I feel like obviously the war on drugs is impacted, you know, it's gone on through our country for decades and decades and decades. So it's impacted, you know, it's touched so many lives, that I feel like we're just trying to kind of contextualize current day situation, which is cannabis is legalizing around this country, and you know, there's still so many people incarcerated for it. So there was a lot that we couldn't go into, again, from the history of that, and also just, you know, what the family and Michael has experienced. But we hope that the film will kind of be a jumpstart for people to kind of dive more into, you know, the nonprofits, and see how they can help and learn more about, you know, the injustice that's gone on through our country.
Got it. And did you talk to people on the law enforcement side who helped give them that sentence, and how do they feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. We, you know, in the movie, you know, the Attorney General Dana Nessel like speaks out, which is huge. I mean, like, she hadn't done that before, and that's very uncommon, because basically, you know, it's her office, and she wasn't in office at the time, but you know, the prosecuting attorney David Layton was in office, and you see him in the movie, and he says, you know, these offenses today, you know, would hardly, you know, get any time at all. You know, you can tell that he was a nonviolent guy, and that they're not going after that anymore. We even spoke to police that are still on the beat, and they said that, you know, they for a long time they used weed as a way to get into people's cars, right? So it was an excuse to kind of target people, and if they, you know, if they wanted to, you know, all they need to do is they say they smell it, right, and then they can get in the car, you know, and even if that's true or not. So it's for law enforcement, you know, cannabis has been, you know, has been a tool to go after, you know, communities, and been a way to kind of get, you know, get people into the system, which is, you know, which is an injustice. And again, we don't go into all of that, but hearing from the some of the parties that are in power now, and some of that were in power back then, they realized that it really was a sentence of the time, right? In the 90s, people were cracking down still on drugs in a very different way. And now we're in, you know, it's 2022, and in Michigan, people are, you know, it's legalized recreationally there. So it's a different time. So we're hoping that, you know, these sentences around the country, as, you know, state to state, will get legalized, and hopefully it'll get legalized federally, that, you know, we'll continue to see more people get, you know, free from prison.
Yes, and it's a little different here because it's legally, it's a federally legal.
Yeah.
And you guys have the state issues, and hopefully, yeah, your justice system can catch up a little bit. But anyways, tell me about how you and your co-director made each other better filmmakers.
Oh, well, Haley's an incredible filmmaker. I mean, we kind of, you know, on this one, we felt it was, you know, it was important to have a diverse crew, you know, and to be able to tell the story from an authentic place. And Haley, she kind of just brought, she just is really, really good with people, and in terms of how she captures them and captures their energy. Like she does a lot of narrative work, but all of her work feels very realistic. So you know, her and I together, I think we're able to kind of capture, you know, Rashonda's spirit, and particularly in a way, and understand what she's gone through, and try to, some of how we approached it, you know, came from our collaboration. So yeah, I was lucky to have her on this project, and I was happy to be able to collaborate with her.
Awesome. So this is played at South by Southwest. Are you there right now?
Yes, I'm in Austin right now.
Nice. What's the vibe like? How's it been?
Man, it's cool. I mean, people are excited to be back. You know, there was a luncheon that the filmmakers got to attend on Friday that Richard Linklater spoke at, and kind of hosted. And you know, he was just saying we were the first, you know, we were the first festival that shut down in 2020, and now we're the first festival to kind of be back. And he was just really appreciative of everyone being there, and just excited to have the festival back in town, and to see all the filmmakers. And yeah, it's been a really positive experience, I think, for, you know, meeting filmmakers and being around each other. Obviously, it's, you know, the arts are such a collective thing. Going to the theaters, being around your peers here at this type of festival, it's important for the work, and I think it makes the work get better for it. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
That's awesome. So now that things are clearing up a little bit, COVID wise, for the foreseeable future at least, are you optimistic about the prospects of the film industry going forward?
I hope so. I mean, I'm hoping that more of those middle budget range films will be continue to kind of get seen in theaters. I am nervous, you know, with how many people now got used to kind of watching things on their own TVs, that I'm hoping people will continue to get back into theaters and continue to support filmmaking, because it's needed. So I'm hopeful, you know.
Cool. Well, definitely, especially for stories like this that are very important for reasons, you know, beyond just some entertainment. You're doing some good stuff here. So congrats to you for that. And I really enjoyed the documentary. Thanks for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the documentary before I let you go?
I think just check out lastprisonerproject.com. You know, they're the ones doing the work. They need a lot of help. There's more constituents like Michael that need their support right now, from writing a letter to giving a donation to making a phone call. Michael's story is a testament to grassroots activism. Tens of thousands of people wrote the governor you know, to raise awareness for Michael's story. And that was the reason that, you know, it played a big part in how he got out. So Michael's in Austin with me now, and it's
nice.
it's because it's been an incredible to be with him in this environment, and to think where he was, you know, 14 months ago to where he is now. It's a testament to people that are, you know, grassroots activism and people writing letters. So check out lastprisonerproject.com to learn, you know, how you can help, you know, these other people that are still incarcerated for non-violent cannabis offenses.
Nice. And they have an Instagram page too.
Yes, Last Prisoner Project is their Instagram.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate the time.
My pleasure.